Good morning, everyone. Today I thought I would harvest some more of my amaranth and show you one of the ways that I harvest. Amaranth is one of the oldest cultivated grains. It's actually not a grain, it's a seed, what is used. You can also eat the leaves. And one of the things that people keep asking me when I tell them I'm eating only what I grow for a whole year, they ask me, well, how are you going to get your protein, and how are you going to get your calcium, and they ask me all these questions because they think that it's like impossible. If you don't buy meat from a store, you can't possibly get any protein, but it's simply not true. 15% of amaranth grain or seed is protein, and there's also a heck of a lot of calcium in it. So this will be a huge source of protein and calcium for me for the winter. I can eat the seeds raw. You can cook them like a cereal grain, and eat them like a porridge. And you can also sprout them, which is even more nutritious. So I'm going to show you how I harvest them. Okay, so one of my favorite things to use to collect the seed in is just a regular paper bag like this. Not a grocery bag, because a lot of the folds in the bottom will collect the seed and you can't get them out. So this is just a regular paper bag that's flat. You can also make your own just out of natural paper and just fold it together, staple it, or tape it, whatever. I just don't like to use plastic bags because I don't like as you probably know, I don't like plastic things at all because I think it's overused for food use. So this is what I'll collect the grain in. So I'm just going to drop this over my bag, and already there's seeds falling out into it. You just kind of massage. And all that. It's almost like milking a cow. And all those seeds fall out. It's the middle of October now, and these have been growing throughout the whole season in the garden, so sometimes you can tell by there's little, you can see that. You see that there's little white parts on the flowers, and that's usually an indication that they're ready. I don't cut them because I like to let them ripen even more, and then I can harvest again. Hopefully you can hear that. I'll try it at a different angle so that you can see it good. I kind of squeeze make sure your bag's open. Kind of squeeze it, and that kind of opens up the little the pieces where the pods sort of. They're like flowers, but that opens them up, and then they'll fall into the bag, and then you can shake them a little bit, but really massaging them gets most of the seeds out better. And of course it'll keep your hand nice and red, and that washes right off. It doesn't stain. Okay, so with what you've got in the bag here is your seeds and the little flower pieces too, and some spiders. But I kind of just leave the bag here for a few minutes. The spiders and bugs will crawl out, and then I'll put it in a tray and blow all those little flower heads off, and you'll be left with the grain. This is what I harvested yesterday in just a couple of minutes. That's the cleaned grain. There are a few little flower petals in there, or little, the outside of the, like the seed pod sort of thing. But you do have to leave this to dry uncovered for however long, because there is a little bit of moisture in there. So that is about 15-20 minutes of work. And I'll probably end up with, I don't know, a pint of seed after I clean that. And I just put it on a tray and I sort of blow all of those. You just blow on it lightly and all of the little flower petals will come off. See, all the little pink things are the pieces of the flower or seed pod, and then the dark, the black seeds are the seeds. And now I'm going to harvest some of the leaves to dry for tea. You can also eat them raw. And I forgot to mention how pretty these are for ornamental in your garden. These are one of my very, very, very favorite plants. And this is about the 5th or 6th generation of Amaranth in my garden. I planted this a long time ago and I've never had to replant it because it seeds itself. And I either move them to where I want them to grow, or I let them grow wherever they want to. More likely I let them grow, because this was my tomato and status patch, and they just grew. And they're very, very tall. They're taller than me. And they're so pretty. And I would suggest growing these, even if you don't want to use them as food. Grow them anyway, because it's just a little backup, just in case.